Hi, I am Kit Cassingham. I'm a longevity coach. My great grandmother lived to 92 without ever acting old. I made it my mission to live as she did, and I coach others to do the same. You do not need to fear aging either.
Cool. That's a great mission, Kit. And hello, everyone. I am Alex Niel, certified high performance and mindset coach. And I work with high achieving women who want to have it all, but feel burnt out, exhausted, unfulfilled. And I help them to create the life they love so they can leave their mark.
They should have met my great grandmother. She was a character.
Cool.
So today, let's talk about finding fulfillment. I think it's going to be a fun, exploratory discussion.
Agreed.
Let's define fulfillment, because I think we all know what it means, but let's make sure we're on the same page with that. I checked my online dictionary, and it says that it is the achievement of something desired. Pretty open-ended. Did you come up with anything different?
It's so broad.
Yeah. I would like to have liver for dinner. Oh, I feel so fulfilled now.
Yeah, exactly. So when I think about fulfillment, it's not just achievement, but it's achievement for meaning, with meaning for me, right? It's achievement that has a deeper sense of being aligned to my mission, because I think there are a lot of things that we can do that are going to give us satisfaction. When we have a task list, we check the box, we feel satisfied, but that's very fleeting, right? You check the box, you're done, you move on to something else. So it's fleeting and it's more short term. Fulfillment for me is much more, like I said, it's connected to a mission, and it's more long term, because when I do something that makes me feel fulfilled, I'll give you an example. A few months ago, we put together a literacy project for our local Rotary Club. So we went to the primary school to read to kids, and then they got to pick the book that they liked the most, and then we went and we gifted them the book that they liked the most.
Brilliant.
And every time I think about this project, every time I talk about this project, I feel like there is this energy radiating from me, because I feel so fulfilled from when I think about the look on their faces when we read and when we gave them the book. That's what that feeling of fulfillment is for me.
Yes, I like that very much. When I was in Toastmasters, to work up to the next level, I got several people in my club to go to I think it was the elementary school, to teach them public speaking. And we took them through a miniature version of Toastmasters.
Okay.
And to watch those kids grow and glow was very satisfying.
Yeah.
Kind of like what you did.
Yeah. Very cool.
After our talk the other day to get ready for today's chat, I did a lot of pondering of what it is that makes me feel fulfilled. My background is so eclectic, I thought I can't figure it out just by looking at my background, until I dug deep. And what makes me feel fulfilled is service and contribution.
Yeah.
I like to make other people's lives feel better. Everywhere I go, I will strive to get somebody to smile or laugh. The checkout clerk at the grocery store, the school guard crossing, whatever. My husband has said, I've just learned to not push because I know you have to do this. Designing and creating useful and or beautiful things makes me feel fulfilled. The courses I have developed, the house I designed that we're living in. I used to sew, and I've since I was in third grade, I have designed my own dresses for my dolls, and then for
Oh, very
myself later
cool.
on. Destroyed a few of the dolls' dresses in the process, but okay, it's okay. Yeah. Um,
Oh, you're
Even
funny.
saving lives, and being part of our EMS team makes me
Oh,
feel
yeah.
very fulfilled.
I would assume it would.
So you just helping, and I'm not an EMT anymore, so I'm not in there with the patient. I'm on the sidelines taking notes, being ears for all the EMTs who are there, and then talking to the patient's partner, family, whoever, neighbor, whoever's there. So that feels really good. Even saying,
Mm,
all right, when you get to the hospital, here's where you go check in, and here's where you'll wait. Silly little stuff, but it feels valuable. Not too different from when I was a bed and breakfast innkeeper, making my guests feel comfortable
yeah.
and, home away from home. Um, but even as a coach, watching my clients light up after conversations where we've been working through an issue and they get whatever it was they wanted, that is fulfilling.
Yeah, it's funny because you and I are so similar in so many ways because as you're talking, I'm like, Kit needs to get out of my head because that's how I feel, right? Because what makes me feel fulfilled is same as you, service to others, right? When I think about that literacy project, that's a big one. Watching
Yeah,
my clients when the light bulb goes off and they're like, yeah, that feels awesome, right?
it's giddy. We feel
It
giddy when
is.
we've done that.
It
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
And it's funny because sometimes people ask me, well, what do you do? And I almost want to say I chase the goosebumps because when I connect with a client and they get it, I get goosebumps. And those are the moments
Yes.
that make me feel like I'm living my mission, right?
Yeah.
When you're a sewer, I'm a knitter. I said I knit nothing more than scarves because I can't do complicated patterns. I can, reduce and expand, but that's about it. But then I
Yeah.
give them away. And to be able to
Oh,
give them away, giving that away to somebody, right, makes me feel fulfilled. I'm trying to think organizing, when I can organize something, like I
oh,
organize my
yes.
kitchen cabinets, right? And then every time I open my cabinets and everything is nice and neat and organized, I'm like, yeah, it makes me feel great. And it allows me to, because that is no longer chaotic, it invites other things in my life.
Yes. With that lack of chaos, more creativity and energy comes into your
Correct.
life.
Yeah.
I organized my parents' move out of the house they'd been in for 40 plus
Mm-hmm.
years.
Mm-hmm.
They went from, I'll say, 3,000 square feet to 1,200 square feet. So
Woo!
organizing that was very satisfying.
I bet.
So, yeah.
I bet. Very cool.
Well, so does fulfillment require improving the world, do you think?
I think it's a part of it, but I don't think it's the whole part of it.
Okay.
Organizing my kitchen cabinets makes me feel very fulfilled, but it's not going to improve anybody's world except for mine.
Which is pretty good. But then you get to fulfill other people's
But
worlds.
that
And
exactly,
so it's the ripple. So it
exactly.
might be a ripple effect.
Could be a ripple
Okay.
effect. Could be a ripple effect.
I do see fulfillment as being in alignment, living in alignment with your values.
Yeah. With your
And I think
values and with your mission.
okay, yes.
I think that mission element is part of it as well.
Okay. And I think if you go against your values or mission, you may feel good, but is it really fulfilling? Or is that a band-aid on something?
Yeah. And I would even go as far as saying, if you're going against your values, maybe against your mission, but if you go against your values, does that feel good? Because then you're compromising yourself at a very core level. For me, that
Yeah.
wouldn't feel good.
No, it doesn't for me either. But how many of us know what our values are?
Yeah, true.
That's going to have to be another talk another time. But
I was going to, yeah.
so if you don't know what your values are, you could be living every day against them without knowing it. And you just have this uncomfortable feeling in the pit of your stomach. And you don't quite know why you're feeling off and not really moving forward the way you want.
Yeah, totally agree. Totally agree. Being able to live in alignment with our values and with our mission is, I mean, how else can one live?
Be a playboy and not care.
You could, although maybe that's just a different set of values.
Yes, could be. Yeah.
Could be a different set of values. So I'm curious, because we all have responsibilities, we all have things that we need to do, and then at the same time, we want to feel fulfilled, right? So how do you balance those two things? I have some ideas, but I kind of want to hear what you think.
All right, help me understand how having responsibility gets in the way of fulfilling your life or having a fulfilled life.
It could be that you're caring for an ailing parent, and that's a responsibility, but it's very difficult. And maybe for some people, it might not be fulfilling because that's not where their heart, in a way, not where it doesn't align with their mission, let's say, right? It may align with their values, but it doesn't align with their mission. So how do you balance those? And we all have obligations, right? Sometimes we got to have family, Sunday dinner, and may not want to have Sunday dinner, but it's an obligation, right? So how do you balance those things?
Well, I go against the grain. I strive to only accept responsibilities and obligations that are in alignment with my values and my mission. Years ago, I quit going to family events because there was so much tension, and it wasn't a happy, cohesive time. And I thought, wait a minute, this holiday should be that way. So I quit doing it.
Yeah.
And it was a little disruptive, but I think I know I had a better time. I invited friends over and had my own version of the celebration.
Yeah. Good.
I started calling my parents by their first name. That goes against tradition, which is an obligation in some ways. And my family was horrified, going, "You can't do that." And I said, "Why?" I see them as good friends, and they don't fit my perception of how parents behave. So rather than try and change that arrangement, just treat them like friends, and I call my friends by their names.
Yeah.
My parents never blinked, never said, "Don't do that." They just went right along with it. And then it became a game. My dad's middle initial was E, so I called him Paul E. Mom's last name, her name ended with an E, so I called her Ann E. And I added E to my name, and I said, "I'm Kit E." So it became a great tradition, and it was fulfilling to make, because it was a lot of laughter around how to spell these names and pronounce them. So I haven't answered your question. I have a friend who did take care of her mother, and it did go against, it was her responsibility, she felt, but she didn't like her mother, had never liked her mother, or her mother had never treated her well, and it ate her up to do that. And my inner voice said, "Why do it? There are nurses you can hire to do this, and preservation of your sanity and health." So I haven't answered your question, but that shows you a lot about my attitude about life. I can't be like my great grandmother and feel miserable if I'm doing that
Yeah.
obligation or responsibility. So I just don't accept those things that don't go with me.
Yeah.
How do you do? All right, so now you.
So I think when I was in corporate, it was a very different dynamic. Now that I'm on my own, aligning my responsibilities and obligations with my mission is much easier. So I don't have that conflict as much because I get to say how I run my life. When I was in corporate, I got to say how I ran my life up to a certain point because I had work, and work was something I needed to do because I needed to pay the bills.
Funny about that, yeah.
But one of the reasons why I left was because my values were no longer aligned with the work that I was doing.
Okay.
So now balancing, it's no longer a question of balance. It's more a question of those things working together.
So you've created harmony in your life.
Yeah, much more. Much more.
So when you were in corporate, I suspect, and I don't remember how long it's been since you left corporate, but I'm going to guess that
2.5. 2.5.
Okay. And I've never done corporate well. In fact, I probably could say I've never been in corporate.
Okay.
But it seems to me that when we set our boundaries and, the boss says, oh, you don't mind making this up, working overnight, do you? You'll keep going, won't you? I mean, that's the corporate thing to do. And the honorable thing to yourself to do is, no, I'm going home now.
Yeah.
I'll be back tomorrow. And the work I do tomorrow will be much better. You'll be happy. And that's probably why I don't do corporate well. Because I'm willing to play that game with them.
Yeah. I think there are a few things that we can do to mitigate that. So I think one of the most important things is scheduling what makes us come alive and makes us feel fulfilled in our calendar as a priority.
Yes.
Do something every week that makes us feel fulfilled and don't compromise on it, because it's just as important as spending 40 hours a week, if you're lucky, at work.
It may be more important because when you do feed your soul, you're better at work, and you're better at home with family or whoever.
Yeah.
So that becomes your responsibility. Take care of you.
Yeah. And then I'll go back to what you were saying before in terms of saying no and creating boundaries. One of the things I learned to do is if somebody offers or asks me to do something, if it's not a heck yeah, then it's a hell no, because otherwise I'm going to do it begrudgingly. I'm not going to have fun doing it. I'm going to be resentful of having to do it. None of these are emotions that I want to invite in my life.
Right.
So having those boundaries is really, really critical. Part of that is having that clarity and setting those expectations with other people, because people need to know. If we've never set expectations or boundaries, people are going to do, because they don't think about the impact on the other person.
Right.
They just ask.
Right.
And it's our job.
Fine.
Asking is okay. Yeah. Yeah.
So like me, you don't take the responsibilities or obligations that aren't in alignment with you.
Much less. I still do from time to time.
Okay.
Because I don't think it's an all or nothing kind of thing. I think there are times when we have to make compromises for different reasons, whether it's distance or something that, would really support the other person, whatever the case may be. I think there are exceptions, so I'm not an all or nothing kind of gal, but I am much more measured in what I take on and what I don't take on, because I don't want things to steal my peace.
Oh, I love that. And who would want their peace stolen, really?
Not this
So
girl.
well, good. Have you discovered or observed in your life or with your clients, your friends, what keeps them from being fulfilled in their lives?
A lot of it has to do with, I would say, two things:
Okay.
clarity or lack of clarity. Sometimes people don't know. They've just been doing the same thing over and over. They're on that hamster wheel and they're running and they're doing, but they're not taking the time to stop to think, what else could I be doing? How does this make me feel? Is that how I want to feel? If not, then what changes do I need to make?
This is how we've always done it, sort of mentality.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So there's the clarity piece, but there's also fear, because the moment you decide to do something different, how much do you want to rock the boat? How are people going to react? Do you mind, or does it matter how people react? How is it going to impact the rest of your life or the other areas of your life? So that uncertainty, it may not be fear, but that uncertainty,
I think it is,
could keep you, right, from living in that fulfillment, because the devil is better than the devil that you don't know.
And I do believe people are afraid of the unknown. If I don't do this, what will I do? That's a scary place to explore.
And very honestly, if I didn't have coaching, would I have left my job because I was paid very handsomely? I was completely burnt out, but I was being paid very handsomely. Would I have left without having something to, I don't know, maybe if my health had gone sideways and it was no longer a matter of, do I need to step away? It would have been step away or else. Different story.
Yeah.
But it's
but that's
hard.
Not where you were.
It's hard.
I remember the first time when I started my first business. I was working for a company, and we had a disagreement about how I spent my lunch times. And they said, you can't do this thing anymore. I said,
aren't they yours to do as you wish?
No, you would think they were. They wanted me to take lunch from 12 to 1. And if the project I was working on was almost finished and I'd work till 12:15 and then take lunch till 1:15, you got to be back at your desk at 1:15. And if I took 4 30-minute lunches so I could take a 2.5-hour lunch to go to this meeting, that wasn't acceptable either. Got the work done. I just wasn't at my desk from 12 to 1. So anyway, I said, I quit. And they said, oh, we're just joking. And I said, but I'm not. And I felt like I had just jumped off a cliff without a parachute on my back. Now, I'd been building my business on the side, so now I had more time to do it. And it was very successful, but it was very scary. And if they hadn't pushed me, I would have been there till they folded.
Yeah.
And not fulfilled.
Definitely not. Definitely not. Yeah, it's always, this whole idea of finding fulfillment. I used to think that it was hogwash, or like, oh, it's a nice to have. And the more I do the work that I do, the more I'm like, it's a cornerstone of everything that we do. And finding fulfillment, because it's, how can I say this? when we don't have fulfillment in one area of our life, it doesn't mean that there needs to be fulfillment, that we have to be blissful and fulfilled in every area of our life, right? Because then we'd be comfortable, we wouldn't grow, we wouldn't move, we wouldn't do anything.
Maybe.
But go back to that after. But if we're not fulfilled in the work that we do, it is such a big, big part of our life. We have to find ways to make that time fulfilling.
Yeah, I agree. I do absolutely agree. And I don't know if you have to have fulfillment in all areas of your life, but I sure think it'd be great. I would love to see everybody be fulfilled in their relationships. And one reason I think they sometimes miss that boat is because they don't have their rules, boundaries, and limitations that let people know what's okay and what's not okay, or what's okay and not okay for ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
We need it in our health, our lifestyle choices. If you hate going to the gym, you're not going to feel fulfilled when you go. But if you find another way of getting the same exercise, then you can be fulfilled. So it's knowing how to think about it, to think outside the box.
Mm-hmm. And that's what I meant when I said, if we're fulfilled everywhere, there's no growth. Part of the journey is looking for those ways that you can feel more fulfilled along the way. And that takes trial and error. That takes experimentation. That takes getting out
that's
of
fulfilling for me. So
yeah.
And that's what I was going to say with maybe that just because, like, I designed our house and it's everything I'd hoped for. I mean, a couple of little things I would have changed if I could have them rebuild it, but it was fulfilling. And then I got to start thinking about other ways of, what could I add? Oh, let's add solar panels. We get them to shade the living room, cut out that southern light in the summer without losing it in the winter. So for me, that exploration is also part of the fulfillment. So nothing's ever done, even when it's done. But that's how I live. So I suppose if I had said, oh, designed and built my house, I'm done, and kicked back, I would have quit growing. But I just hopped to other things, moved on to other things that were fulfilling. So for me, it's a whole bunch of stepping stones, and I just kind of pop and dance from one to the other. You could tell by my variety of hobbies and businesses that I do a lot. I get tired of doing the same exercise routine. So my challenge is to find, oh, okay, well, I'll quit doing this one and I'll do this one for a while.
I think part of it is as well, that curiosity mindset, wanting to explore, wanting to learn, wanting to know more, that helps us to dive into areas that maybe we wouldn't naturally go to. But I also think that's where the nuggets are. That's where the gold is, that help us to discover who we really are and what are those things that are going to bring us that fulfillment.
Can have more fulfillment when we have a curiosity mindset.
Yeah.
Okay, I've just gotten notice that my internet connection is unstable. Yeah. So maybe I'm mumbling now.
No, you're good. You're good. I lost you for a second, but you're good.
Okay, so maybe I'm stable again.
You are. I didn't see anything on my side.
No, because it's my connection that's unstable, not yours. Yeah. So yeah, I think my observations of why I see people not be fulfilled is they don't know what makes them tick.
Yeah.
They don't have their boundaries, or they feel constrained or confined by a relationship. I know somebody who can't eat the way she wants because her husband won't eat that food. And when he's cooking, he won't cook food that's healthy for her. Okay. So she just goes along with whatever he wants. And I know, I can see by the look on her face that she's not happy about that. And I think not happy is another way of saying unfulfilled.
Fulfilled. Yeah.
I'm not sure, and that makes me feel bad for her, but yeah, she's got to come to her own grips. And
Yeah.
yeah,
She's got to create her own boundaries. And let's be honest, it's so easy to see from the outside in. And it's so easy to say, well, if I were in that situation, I would do A, B, C, X, Y, Z, 1, 2, 3. But
yeah.
when you're in it and you take the whole dynamic,
Which we aren't privy to.
It's much more difficult. Yeah.
I mean, this is going off topic, but I hear people say about the beaten wife. Why doesn't she just leave? When Patty Hearst was captive, why doesn't she just leave? Well, there's fear, there's being brainwashed, there's all kinds of things that keep us confined and keep us from being fulfilled.
Yeah. Yeah. No, fully agree. And I know it's always a sensitive topic, and I've learned that there are so many layers that we don't see, that we don't experience, that make it so easy to judge.
Yeah.
But without having been there, it's impossible to say. It's it's a journey that I guess they have to take, and they have to develop their own strength along the way.
It's their journey.
Yeah.
They've got to do it their way. Whether even if we can see they're miserable, even if they tell us they're miserable, it's theirs. And I see this fulfillment issue fit in with longevity. They relate because I feel more fulfilled when I take care of myself.
Yeah.
I feel more vibrant, and when I'm agile and flexible and strong, that's fulfilling, even though it's not fulfilling to anybody else, but it is to me. And then I read and hear articles about your strength and these lifestyle choices help your longevity. And when I say longevity, I'm not saying, oh, now you're going to live to be 92 or 102 or 175. It just means that those years you have will be more vibrant. Yeah. And that's fulfilling. I think it is for me anyway.
Yeah. So I just want to, because we're all talking about finding fulfillment and we're talking about all of these things, but what do you think are some practical ways that people can get started on that journey to finding fulfillment?
Well, my off-the-cuff answer, and I'm sure I'll go deeper as you talk and respond, but I think if people go through the same exercise I did getting ready for today, of saying, what is it I've done in my life that is fulfilling? What else? What else? And just keep finding these things. Find the common thread or the one word that explains it. That's one way of doing it. Knowing your values is part of that, I think.
Yeah, I agree. I would also throw in there, keep being curious. Don't close your mind to things that you don't know simply because for whatever reason. But be willing to open yourself up to possibility, open yourself up to new things. It's funny. It's not that, in a way, food makes you feel fulfilled. In the context of longevity, I totally see it. But just a silly example, I love to try different foods. And I've eaten all kinds of exotic foods. And I do it for a couple of reasons. One, because I'm curious. Two, because if I don't taste it, I can't say I don't like it. And I might discover that I love something that would be completely unexpected.
Yep.
And three, I do it for the fear factor response of people when I tell them the things that I've eaten. They're like, "What?" Because that makes me. I just think it's funny, and it's it's just funny, and it makes me feel good. But that whole exploration You don't know what you don't know, and you don't know what you might miss by saying no to things without trying them,
And I
without
know
exploring.
I've told this story before, but it fits in here as well as far as that closed mindset. When I was in Northern Ireland, I had a chance to walk across a suspension bridge,
Mm.
not very long. And I mean, I guess if I'd fallen, it would have killed me. It hurt me real bad, but you didn't hear of these things. And I went, and my two travel companions, when I got back, said, "Oh, that looked easy. If I'd known it was that easy, I would have gone." Well, I'd never done it before,
Yeah.
but I knew that I could do it. Hold on to the rope or the rail if you have to.
Yeah. But yeah.
So, prime example of I was fulfilled, and then I saw that all the beautiful wildflowers and the ocean beyond,
Mm.
and so I had double fulfillment.
And part of that is overcoming the challenge, because that makes us feel like it makes us feel good. It makes us feel like we've beaten the odds. It makes us feel like we are stronger than we believe that we are. So it helps us to gain more confidence in how we approach things. Because heck, if I can walk across a suspension bridge, that's for me, one of the tenets behind Tony Robbins's, fire walking exercises. If you can walk on fire, you can pretty much do anything.
Yeah. One of the mantras I hear in the longevity field is do hard things.
Yeah. In the high performance thing also.
Okay, good. Yeah. So that could mean take a sauna. I don't like heat. Well, start where you can stand it and then raise the temperature a little bit. Do hard things. Take a cold shower. Oh, I don't know. All right, it'll be hard for a moment.
I'm gonna agree with you up to the cold shower, because I'm still working my way to the cold shower, and it's really, 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 really hard because I love my nice toasty showers.
But this is how you end it. And I carry the 40-pound bag of cat litter from the garage here to the yurt. And I'm not a particularly big person, and it was really hard the first time.
Yeah.
And it's pretty much it's almost easy now. And a friend said, "Why do you do that? Why don't you put it into a pail and just take the pail over?" I go, "Because that's hard. Having part of the weight in one arm." It's like, no, I just soon do the whole thing. So now I should do the pail because that's the hard thing. But eat foods you're not familiar with.
Yeah.
Sleep on the beach.
Yeah. Explore. It's really that exploration piece, because it goes back to what we were talking about in the beginning, which is sometimes people don't know what makes them feel fulfilled. And you're not going to know until you start branching out and trying different things. And those things are that's it.
You'll feel satisfied. You'll feel you've conquered something, and that is so uplifting.
Yeah.
I would bet most people would feel fulfilled by feeling uplifted and I've overcome this.
Yeah.
And when you can take a cold shower, even if it's only for 5 seconds, you'll feel more fulfilled.
I think I'd rather go to chill and sit in the cryo tank.
That's also fun.
So,
except I didn't sit, I danced. But anyway.
Okay. Yeah.
Anyway, I'll wait a few months before I bring up cold showers again.
Yeah.
You always react the same way.
Do that. The other thing that I wanted
I have to point out, water in where you live, cold water is not as cold as where I live.
Yeah, true. So, I mean, the water honestly, the water out of the tap right now, it's so hot outside that it doesn't even get cold. It's kind of lukewarm.
Exactly. Yeah.
So in the wintertime, it's different. Sure. You're right.
Perfect time to start practicing a cold shower.
You're right.
You keep trying to make a point and I keep
No. It's okay. It's okay. I just wanted to bring up the importance of our social circle.
Oh, please do. Yeah.
Because when we're surrounded with other people who feel unfulfilled, it's easy to kind of sit back and say, well, this is how life is. when we
Yeah.
surround ourselves with people who are continually trying to strive, it forces us out of our comfort zone. It pushes us into trying different things and doing the hard things because we want to, in a good way, keep up with the Joneses.
Yeah.
We don't want
And
to be.
some Joneses are worth keeping up with.
That's right. That's right. Because we don't want to be the Joneses that are like the crabs in the bucket, where every time a crab tries to get out of the bucket, the other crabs, pull it back in.
No, they don't do that, do
Yeah,
they?
they do. Yeah, they do. You do
That
know
is so
that.
rude. No,
Yeah.
I've never hung around crabs in a bucket before.
So it's like pick your crabs, right? Pick the people around you that are
Sorry.
that's okay, that are living the life that a life that makes them feel fulfilled, and take your cues from how they're living. What are their values? How are they living in alignment with whatever it is that makes them feel fulfilled? Because then it's a learning. And then you can try it on for size and you can say, okay, if that's a tactic they're using, how would that look for me? Let me try it. Does it feel good? Does it not feel good? It
Right.
it gives you ideas of different things to think about and explore.
I love it. And of course, I flashed on videos I've seen of the elephant herd helping the little baby that fell
Oh
into a
yeah,
steep riverbank, and they're pushing
yeah,
and pulling, and I'm sure that at the top they have this little elephant dance going, "Yay, we did it!" I don't know what elephants do to celebrate, but
yeah.
raise their trunks and go,
Maybe trumpet
and
away.
so, trumpet away. This is reminding me of an article I read and interacted with the author about, where he was talking about playing the age card
Mm,
and the things we do. Oh, I'm too old. I can't do that anymore. Oh, I'll sit this one out because I'm so old. I mean, now I was horrified when my parents took the senior discount at the movie theater when they were 55. I thought, well, actually, can I have that one?
yeah.
So, but I'm 55 is not senior in my book, but and I hit my husband when he tells me I'm a senior. I go, no, I'm not. But when we let age be an excuse for not pushing ourselves, for not fulfilling a bigger, better destiny for ourselves, I think we're losing out on a chance to be fulfilled
I agree.
and fulfill others' lives.
Yeah,
Because I think that's a give and take. It's not just about fulfilling my life.
it's
It's
everybody.
about fulfilling
Yeah.
the world. And community is it. Like, it be the crabs that push you out of the bucket, be the elephants that pull you out of the river.
Yeah.
Um, don't fall for, oh, I'm too old for that.
And it's not just age, right? It's I'm not smart
No,
enough for that. It's I
right.
wasn't,
I'm not
that's
pretty enough.
not me, or I don't do that, or all of those preconceived notions that keep us from living to our full potential. Because at the end of the day, that's what it is. Being fulfilled is living to our full potential.
Oh, I have been hearing something fits right in with what you just said. I've had 3 or 4 people in my life the past few weeks who said things like, I don't like people telling me what to do, even myself. So I won't have a routine. I won't go on that diet. I won't
Huh?
because that's somebody telling me what to do and I'm not going to. I'm going, really? But you're diabetic, don't you think? No. And I don't know what to do with that.
Yeah.
Change communities is one way. Like, it's like, I don't want to be with people who are so insistent that they
Mm,
fight for their limitations. Fighting for limitations, regardless of what they are,
yeah,
keeps you from being fulfilled.
absolutely. Absolutely. I couldn't agree. Couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more.
What haven't we covered?
I don't know. I'm trying, like I'm peeking at my notes as you and I are talking. Um, I think we covered everything. I think we covered everything.
I think we have to, and then some. But as we went off in our little rabbit holes and side trips, it related to the point that one of us was trying to make using different words and stories. I think we did a good job patting ourselves on the back. Okay. Whew. So, next month we're going to talk about the hustle culture.
Oh, that's a good one. I'm excited about that.
Yeah, me too. I've been thinking about it since you'd suggested it. And I thought, oh, this really fits into a lot of things we've talked about.
Yeah.
And ways I do and don't live my life.
Mm-hmm.
So that will be fun. And that will be on September 13th, by the way.
Excellent.
In case you wondered. So
very good.
Do you have anything to offer our listeners?
So before I offer anything, I need to apologize for the scheduling snafu from last time. I will circle back with you to potentially add something in the notes. I mean, right now, the best thing I can offer really is if you're in a place where you're struggling with feeling unfulfilled, with burnout, with exhaustion, and you're done. You've had enough and it's time to move on. Let's just jump on a call, a free jumpstart call, 30 minutes, and let's brainstorm some potential solutions.
Oh, and anybody who does that's going to get so much from you. It'll be great. And I'd love to be part of the conversation. That I would be too distracting, so I won't be. And since we're talking about fulfillment, I want to offer people the YOS discovery session, where they take a quick 10-ish minute test or a survey, a discovery, and they discover their why, their how, and their what, so that they have a better idea of what they can do, how they can do it, etc., to be fulfilled, what their mission. Like I have numerous things that are fulfilling to me, and they all fit my why, how, and what. So cool. I will offer that to people, but it's powerful. And awesome. I did this with a client last week, and she said, oh, now I see what I can do with this hobby to turn it more into a business.
There you go.
You could just see the bubbles coming up of excitement.
Nice. That's awesome. All right. So do you want to close this off? Or do you want me to go?
Yeah, you start. You
All
start.
Right. So I'm Alex Niel, certified high performance and mindset coach, and I work with high achieving women who want it all but feel exhausted, burnt out, unfulfilled, and I support them in creating a life they love without having to compromise their health and their relationships.
And I'm Kit Cassingham, longevity coach. My great-grandmother lived 92 without acting old. And it's my mission to live as she did, like she did. And I want to work with people who I can teach people to do the same thing. There's no need to fear aging. It's not a monster. I should have a flashlight under my face when I say that.
Yeah.
It's not a monster. All right, with that. I will see you September 13th.
Sounds good.
We're going to learn how to do the hustle. Is that what you just said?
We can try. But the idea is to banish the hustle. So
I've never learned that dance, so I'll look forward.
I didn't either. I'm going to have to do some studying before.
I'll do some too then.
All right, Kit. See you soon.
Conversation.
As always. Thanks.